Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about budgets, the U.S. federal budget. We're going to talk about the idea of a government shutdown. We are going to talk about continuing resolutions. We're going to talk about McCarthy. And we're going to talk about why the Democratic Party is being so accommodating right now. It's a little weird, and it has led to some questions. Okay, so for background, the current federal budget, it runs out, I want to say September 30th. And it is unlikely that the Democratic Party in the Senate and the Republican Party in the House are going to be able to work out any kind of functioning budget during this period. Why? Because inside the Republican Party in the House, there's a bunch of hardliners. There's a bunch of people who are far, far, far right. There's not a lot of them, but they have a lot of influence. So their demands would kind of put Republicans in the House in a situation where if it was pushed at the moment, well, they might have to support things that are frankly absurd. But maybe there's another alternative, and that's a continuing resolution. What is a continuing resolution? A mini budget, lasts for a few months. I want to say the one they are talking about would run through December. It would run through December. And McCarthy floated this idea, and it has been warmly received. And Democrats in the Senate are like, that's a good idea. I think even Schumer was like, yeah, you should do that. And there's a lot of people who follow politics asking why. Because realistically, if the Democratic Party played hardball right now, it would lead to a government shutdown, and it would widely be perceived as the Republican Party's fault, because it would be the Republican Party arguing in the House, unable to put anything forward. This is good news for the Democratic Party, right? It is. It is. While it might be good news for the Democratic Party, it's bad news for most of the country. So there's at least an element of the Democratic Party putting country over party, which is nice. You know, we haven't seen that a lot from American politicians over the last few years. But there's something else. There's something else at play, and there's a reason why the Democratic Party is like, yeah, let's just move this down the road a little bit. What would change? That's the part you have to ask. What's the piece of information that's missing here? What would change between right now and December? There's not... It would be the same people, right? And it would be. But the big question is, those hardliners in the House, where do they get their marching orders from? Right now, McCarthy seems to be of the belief that there might be a certain prominent Republican who has a lot of sway over the far right that may lose that sway between now and December. Otherwise, the same issue would exist then. So, it appears that at least some people believe that that prominent Republican, their support will collapse, and those people in the House who have been riding his coattails, mastering social media, learning how to control and provoke outrage, well, they may not have as much support either. Because if you're riding somebody's coattails and they trip and fall, well, you go down with them. It certainly appears to me that McCarthy might be of the opinion that the far right element within the Republican House is going to have a lot less influence soon. And he's just delaying the budget until that happens. If he tried to do it right now, if he tried to push through a real budget, Republicans in the House would have to go along with it. Otherwise, he personally would be blamed because it would just pass with Democratic Party votes. That would look bad on him. The reason Republicans might object to it is because of the hardliners and their ability to control social media and control the narrative. If those hardliners lose influence, well, a real budget might be able to go through. That appears to be what he is angling for. And that's why the Democratic Party is accommodating here. Think about it this way. If there is a government shutdown, if the Democratic Party played hardball right now, yeah, there would be a government shutdown, widely perceived to be the Republican Party's fault, but to get that shutdown lifted, to get the government rolling again, the Democratic Party would have to give some stuff up. They would have to play ball with the hardline Republicans. If they wait, well, those Republicans may not have much influence. And they would be able to get a budget that is more reflective of what the American people want rather than what hardliners who realistically want things to go bad for the American people right now want. They want things to go bad because then they can blame it on Biden and it helps their side. The move here, the delay here, is really based on the hope that the far-right Republican Party, that it's going to lose its influence between now and December. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.